Coming up on Mountain News this morning, a church in our region partners with Toys for Tots to put smiles on the faces of Kentucky children. And the Pikeville Rotary Club continues its work in spreading hope to flood survivors as our region continues working toward recovery.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning to you. 6 o'clock here. I'm Dakota Makris. Good morning to you. It's Monday. And we're back. I'm back. We're all back. We have to go back to work. Let's head over to Brandon for a look at our forecast this morning.
Who never left?
You never left.
That's right. I've been here the whole time.
Yeah, you never left. So you've been watching the S word closely, but we'll talk about that a little bit later.
Yeah.
So.
Again, we'll kind of talk about it briefly at main weather here at 6, and then we'll hit it again at 6:30. Kind of the most updated information that we have, and of course we're going to do an in-depth breakdown. The web story will be up around 9 o'clock on our website, so we'll get all that pushed out to you in a little bit. But anyway, let's talk about this morning first. Still got some current conditions to deal with before we get into the future. And you see 15 in Clintwood to 24 at Jackson. So as the old Christmas song says, baby, it's cold outside this morning. We're looking at frost on those windshields. So if you parked outside, you're going to need to give yourself time to get those cars scraped or warmed up this morning, because it is going to be a frigid start. A little extra on the coffee meter because it's Monday. Max warming needed because of the temperatures out there. So again, just give yourself plenty of time to get around this morning. I think there's been some reports of some black ice on any area that was had some water. Of course, it got cold enough to freeze last night, so watch out on that if you come across any of that on your way to work this morning. Donut forecast, if you're grabbing one of those when you head out the door, eat it early, because we're going to see those clouds increase as we head deeper into the afternoon. Still a mix of sun and clouds possible, but temperatures will stay cold in the upper 30s for daytime highs. Dakota?
All right, Brendan, thank you so much. Well, Heritage Ministries once again put together the Tri-City Empty Stocking Fund event to support locals this Christmas. Our Chandler Wilcox tells us what this tradition means to Eastern Kentuckians.
It all started with a man named Muggins who wanted to help coworkers in the coal mines.
He helped them with food and toys for their kids. And here we are 42 years later. The community is still rallying together to help the folks in the Tri-City area.
Generations young and old came together to help those in need.
I heard about it at the high school, and I like doing stuff like this, me and my brother both, so we decided to come down here and just help out as much as we could.
Not just folks in Harlan County, but people all across the country came to support Eastern Kentuckians through donations or packing food.
We've had groups from Maine, from Texas, from South Carolina, Western Kentucky. They've all come to help out.
Some even have this event circled on their calendars, regardless of whether they are giving or receiving.
Well, that first year was questionable because we didn't know how it'd go, but we honestly kind of fell in love with it, and this is something we do. We plan our December around this now.
All of that planning leads to this day, which organizers say is humbling.
We give them food so they have a good meal for Christmas, and the kids get gifts, and sometimes they open them early.
Spreading Christmas cheer one family at a time. In Harlan County, Chandler Wilcox, WYMT Mountain News.
Well, people also received a voucher for ham at Food City, along with their food basket and toys. Greenbrier Presbyterian Church in Manchester partnered with Toys for Tots this holiday season. Well, during the weekend, around 150 kids got to go Christmas shopping for toys and clothes at the church. Megan Bond says there were more than 84 different locations with boxes filled with toys this year, bringing in thousands of toys for the kids.
The kids are able to get one large toy, and then they can choose 2 small toys. And then after that, it's kind of just grab your stocking stuffer and put it in there. We made sure that they had plenty of toys because we want to give them at least 3 really good ones, but there's times we may sneak a few more in there just to make it extra special.
Well, she says they hope this mission continues to grow each year, and if you are a business that would like to participate in the area, you can reach out to the church and it will help you get connected. First responders in Pikeville gathered with families during the weekend for a bit of Christmas fun. Our Jordan Mullins has more from the city's Christmas with the First Responder event.
Christmas is a week away, but Santa came a bit early for Christmas with a first responder. On Saturday, Pikeville Police, Fire, EMS, and Dispatch came together to give back to their community.
we're not just police officers or firemen or dispatchers. We're human beings, and we're part of the community, so we're going to make sure that these kids and these families have a good Christmas.
Along with the help of several event supporters, first responders were able to buy gifts for around 300 children.
The joy, the hope, the happiness on the face of these kids, the laughter on their face, this is amazing. If we're able to put that laughter on their face and provide them with something during Christmas, this is wonderful.
And were able to interact with the community.
We can interact with them and let them know that we care for them, and hopefully they care for us, and we can interact on a daily basis. Just not Christmas, just let them know that we're always there, going to be there for them.
Spreading a little Christmas cheer.
Getting to come down here and giving them a huge bag full of toys, clothes, stuff that they need like that, it's that feeling times 10. I don't even know how to describe it, honestly.
And ensuring folks have a Merry Christmas. In Pikeville, Jordan Mullins, WIMT Mountain News.
Well, they say around $18,000 worth of toys, clothes, shoes, and more were given to the kids at the event. Well, during the last few months, the Pikeville Rotary Club has been touching the lives of flood survivors across eastern Kentucky. And thanks to generous donors across the state, nation, and even around the globe, the club has been able to raise $300,000 that has been used to purchase space heaters and Visa gift cards for families in need. And this past weekend, well, the club was at the Mind-Made Adventure Park over in Knott County, looking to make the holiday a little brighter for the families there.
It's a great feeling to be able to help anyone, and these people certainly are in a terrible situation and need all the help that they can get. Christmas is a big part of those kids' lives, and we feel like we've made a difference.
Well, the Pikeville Rotary Club has helped flood impacted families in Perry, Breathitt, and Floyd and Knott counties, just to name a few. And the group plans to be at Letcher County Central High School to hand out items today. A nonprofit is coming back to serve the people of the mountains for a second time. Volunteers with Operation Barbecue Relief were here in the region serving people in August, and now the organization has returned to help once again. Volunteers say they like to follow up with disaster-impacted communities months after the initial event because these visits can sometimes be just as important to volunteers as they are to survivors.
This is one of the reasons we always go back to areas that we've been to before, not only to still tell you we're still thinking about you, but also our volunteers are just as impacted by being able to help the community. There's stories that are told, we call it the look, being able to have that connection with the community and just have that conversation. There's times where we'll take somebody aside for 10 minutes, give them a hug, and just let them know that we're thinking about you and we know it's difficult.
Operation Barbecue Relief will be set up outside of the Hazard Food City on Tuesday at 11 a.m. and it's prepared to give out 3,000 meals. A group in Lexington raised money to purchase bicycles for schools in its community. Well, members of the Lexington alumni chapter of the Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity raised $10,000 for its second annual bike drive. Members say giving back to the community is really the purpose of their fraternity, and the success of this year's bike drive inspires them as they look ahead to the future.
To see their faces, you know, and they're running around like, I want that bike, I want that bike. So that's a great look, a great feeling to be a part of that and see the elation on the kids' faces when they can see that that's going to go home with me. That's going to be my ride for the summer. So that's a good feeling.
100 bikes will go to children at the Promise Academy at William Wells Brown, Booker T. Washington, and Brenda Cowan elementary schools.
Coming up on 6:09 on this cold Monday morning before Christmas. Yes, we are 6 days away from the big day. We take a look at the London camera this morning along I-75. A little traffic down that way, but the big story is the cold. 21 right now down that way. 15 up in Clintwood is our cold spot. 19 Somerset, Manchester, over toward Williamsburg. 17 Irvin, 16 in Jonesville, and a lot of 20s out there, with 24 being our warm spot up at the National Weather Service office at Jackson. So again, pretty chilly out there this morning. Give yourself time to get those cars warmed up or scraped off. A lot of frost if they're outside under no cover, and temperatures only get into the upper 30s for daytime highs a little bit later on, with a mix of sun and clouds, with more clouds a little bit later today. Dakota?
All right, Brennan, thank you so much. When we come back here on Mountain News this morning, the House Committee investigating the January 6th Capitol breach prepares to release its final findings. We'll have more on that in just a few minutes.